Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back your lovely faces to a brand new video here on the channel. Well, the other month I heard, and a lot of us saw, that they're remaking or they're doing a reimagining of American Psycho. They're supposedly adapting the book a lot more closely than the Mary Harrion version of 2000, which starred Patrick Bateman in an iconic role, which the guy just embodied, and obviously he went so far with that role, it just became iconic the second it was released, you know, because he was just that damn good. And I was like to myself, they can't redo that film because Christian Bale was just so goddamn good in the role. Well, Lucas American Psycho to star Austin Butler as Patrick Bateman. I saw this and the first thing that went through my mind is, holy shit, we're gonna get someone out crazying Patrick Bateman, Christian Bale. We are going to see Austin Butler do a lot more crazy because I don't know what it is about Austin Butler, but the guy, he is just a chef's kiss of an actor. This guy is absolutely superb in whatever he's in. You had The Bike Riders a couple of months ago with Tom Hardy. Great film. Loved him in June Part 2. Great movie, great role. Then, if you haven't seen it, Elvis, which is kind of interesting because I'm not an Elvis fan. My mum is. My mum grew up in that era, so she loves it, and she's like, I want to watch it. I was like, right, okay. So I sat down with her, we watched it, and I was like, oh my god, this guy is Elvis. He was just so good in the role. And when I saw that, they were like, you know what? We're going to have Austin Butler as Patrick Bateman. Straight away, I was just like, okay, now I'm interested. When I first heard it, I was like, they're redoing it. You can't really do a classic like that. You know, there's some films which you do just not remake. Back to the Future trilogy. The Godfather trilogy. Hell, even Star Wars, but that's kind of what they did with the Disney sequels. But there's so many films out there which you just cannot reimagine, remake, or whatever. Look at Psycho in 1998, when Gus Van Sant said, oh, you know what, I'm going to do a shot-for-shot remake of Psycho but in colour. It was the exact same film, but for some unknown reason, it just didn't hit it with anyone. Because the original is the original. You cannot put any more spin on perfection. Even if those films have imperfections, they're a thing of their time, you know? Like Patrick Bateman is. And with this, the guy who's directing is Luca. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to butcher it. But he did Bones and All, which is a great film with Timothée Chalamet, which came out a couple of years ago. Suspiria, the remake of that one, which again, I was a bit like, really? Watched it, really enjoyed it. It's not as good as the original though, but he also did the new one with Daniel Craig, Queer, and also the Zendaya one, Challenges, from this year. But they're going to direct a new interpretation of the novel. Variety has announced that this morning that Austin Butler will star as Patrick Bateman. Scott Z. Burns is penning the script, which, to be honest with you, Scott Burns is a great writer, and it's going to be a new adaptation of the book and not a remake of the 2000 film, which that is going to be very interesting because there's things in the book which, if you have read the book, you will know certain scenes like the ending and the way he certain animals and all this kind of stuff, you know? It's a bit like, right, okay, then you can't really put it out. They tried to. They did film a couple of scenes, but they were like, yeah, we can't put that in the movie. So they didn't. But with this one, if they're saying it's going to be a new adaptation of the book, to be honest with you, I think this is going to be a lot more faithful than the Christian Bale one. But it does say that they will have, obviously, a drastically different version of the character that Bale made unforgettable in director Mary Harron's adaptation. The new film will be produced by Frenzy Films. Sam Pressman, son of Edward Pressman, producer of the first film through his company Pressman Films. And this is what they've said about it. We are thrilled to add another elite filmmaker to our upcoming slate. Luca is a brilliant artist and the perfect visionary to create a whole new interpretation of this potent and classic IP. Now this is the one which actually got me a little bit like, oh right, I didn't know. But they were going to go with Jacob Elordi, who was going to play Patrick Bateman, excuse me. And again, no, Austin Butler, choosing him over him, I'll be interested. But Jacob, as says by there, he is playing the monster in Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, which for that there, I am all for as well. You are letting Guillermo del Toro, possibly, I'm going to say top 3 directors working this day and age. To me, he's just one of the best ever. And when you give him an IP like Frankenstein, we are going to see something absolutely magical come from that movie. But with this one here, though, I was like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever, you know, it was like, oh, interested, you know? But now I'm like, oh my God, you've got me peaked now. I'm like, you have my attention. Austin Butler to be Patrick Bateman, I can see it going really well. Let's have a look what the people are actually saying in the comments. Love the book, but not a fan of the movie, but I've only seen it once, so maybe I need to give it a second look. Open to a remake, but what a terrible choice. Blasphemy. It's a new adaptation, not a remake. You see, this is what I see. Bale's performance in the first one, he just made it so iconic. And especially when he's talking about Huey Lewis in the news. And you see, you know, it's just going on saying a lot. There's no way this movie can capture the magic. What's the point? The first one wasn't anything grand to begin with. Again, you have got some people who do like to shit over other people's things. We don't need a remake, just enjoy the original. I want to leave a bag of flaming dog for anyone who wants to remake things. I hope Austin can bring it. The role requires more than just a pretty face, but a certain unique flair. I loved him in Elvis, but it seems like he still hasn't gotten out of that persona. He didn't seem like Elvis in June. No, he didn't. As you can see, there's so many things going on. But when you get the people going, oh, well, it's only mediocre like this guy. But yeah, it's like, well, okay, you know. Let them think that, you know, again, no. But when you see people who talk about, oh, it's like this, and oh, yeah, one very good to begin with, they mostly like Sharknado as like the greatest movie and all that kind of stuff. But it's good to see how every single person has a different take on this. You know, like for me, I'm like, oh my God, Austin Butler is a fantastic actor. I think he can do something really well with this. And another thing as well, my favorite movie of all time is Michael Mann's Heat, with Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, and a laundry list of who's who. Well, Michael Mann's next movie now is going to be Heat 2, based on his book, which I actually have over by here. Now, this book is absolutely incredible, and it delves into so much stuff. Austin Butler, by the sounds of it, because he's actually been at Tarantula, the shooting range where they taught Keanu Reeves how to be John Wick. Austin Butler went there, he's done a lot of firing, he's done a lot of training, because he's actually supposedly going to be Val Kilmer's role, which, again, fantastic. But it's Michael Mann, so I'm expecting good things. But that's what we got, guys. Let us know down below what you think of this, because, like I say, for me, I'm very, very intrigued now, and I'm like, you got my attention. Austin Butler is a great character actor as well when given the right role, and with this one, who knows? Is he going to out-crazy Christian Bale? Who knows? Let us know your thoughts down below, folks, and I will see you soon.